Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine and this is Raspberry Reads. I was tagged to do this video today by Daniella at Uncommon Reader, so thank you Daniella for tagging me. And this is the Cosy Coffee Mug Tag. And I'll link who created it below because I can't remember. I've only got some very short notes with me today because I'm in a bit of a hurry. But yeah, as it's a cozy coffee mug tag, I thought I would share this mug with you. So this is the mug that Lucy gave me when I became a British citizen, and it's got all of the like Bob's your uncle and cheerio, all those British sayings on it, most of which I do not use, but it's still nice to have the mug. And I've got a cup of tea because I have a little bit of a cold, so hopefully the honey in here will help. But yeah, so let's get to the tag. So I don't have the full sort of explanations for all of the prompts, so I'll put those in the description box below. But the first one was called like Hex the Patriarchy, and it's recommending a few favorite women's authors. So let me just put my tea down. Yeah, so recommending to you some of my favorite female women authors. And I've got two, but only one book to show with you. I'll pop another one on the screen. So the first one is Annie Proulx, and here I have the shipping news. So Annie Proulx, I've read 2 or 3 of her books. I don't think she has that many books out, to be honest. But I loved Barkskins by Annie Proulx, and after I read Barkskins, which is this like sweeping saga about the forestry industry, I was like, okay, I love her writing style, and the shipping news was exactly the same. I just love her writing style. So my go-to author, especially for if we're thinking about patriarchy and like strong female voices, is definitely Annie Proulx. And then the other favorite female author is Tracy Chevalier. So I should say I have lots of favorite authors, but I was just trying to think of authors where I tend to go back to new books by them again and again, and that's definitely Tracy Chevalier. And I think it's because she writes historical fiction really well. And so not only is she a female author, but she also, I don't think there's any exceptions to this, always has female protagonists. And I like that about her writing. So yes, if I could recommend 2 sort of strong female authors, and if we're thinking about fighting the patriarchy, then Tracy Chevalier and Annie Proulx would be my picks. And the next prompt has to do with like strong female fictional characters. And so the first one that I thought of was Agnes or Inez in Hamnet. She's meant to be Shakespeare's wife. She was a herbal woman, looking after the household all on her own, trying to raise the family. And so, yeah, just a very strong woman. So she's definitely my favorite character within Hamnet, and I do think about her a lot. So I would recommend reading Hamnet if you have not and are looking for strong female characters. Another strong female character, and I don't think this one will be a huge surprise, is Anne Shirley from Anne of Green Gables. I mean, she's a child in the first book, but as she grows older, I think she just really comes into her own and, you know, stands up for her beliefs and tries really hard. So I view her as a strong female role model. And then otherwise, I just jotted down a few characters where I was thinking not necessarily in a positive way, but so firstly, Circe, if you haven't read Circe by Madeline Miller, that's also a really good book with a sort of strong female character. I also really enjoyed Miss Benson's Beetle with the main character Marjorie Benson. So she starts out as a fairly weak female character and comes into her own. And I appreciated that for looking for like a character's journey and growth. I liked Eleanor Oliphant from Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine because that shows actually character weakness and struggles and sort of self-identity. And then I was thinking of like, okay, well, a character that I really don't like, a female character, and that was Sadie Goodenough from The End of the Orchard, and it's a Tracy Chevalier book that I just mentioned in one of my recent videos. And she was a horrible character. I didn't connect to her at all, but I really liked just how bad, or like the antithesis of a good, strong woman she was. So yeah, if we're looking for like best horrible female character, then Sadie Goodenough is one that comes to mind. The third prompt has to do with Gothic books, since we're heading into the autumn spooky season. Again, there are lots of Gothic books. I don't read horror, or I don't tend to read contemporary Gothic books very often. So I just have two classics, which I'm sure many of you have already read. The first one that came to mind was Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. Love that book. And also The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I think both of these are classic Gothic tales, and if you haven't read them and are interested in getting into the classics, then I recommend giving them a try. So the fourth prompt had to do with auto buys, so I guess like authors that I would automatically purchase. So I don't tend to buy that many books, but I was thinking about, okay, well, which authors do I tend to gravitate towards? And I focused just on female authors for this. So Lisa Jewell, I would say, is an author where if I see on my Libby app a book, particularly an audiobook that's by Lisa Jewell, I will most likely pick it up, because I know for the most part her writing is fairly reliable. If I'm looking for like easy listening, crime, thrillers, suspense, that sort of thing. Another author that I have been trying to read all of her work, with some misses I must admit, is Emily St. John Mandel. My favorite is definitely Station 11. I like that she's a Canadian author. I like her writing style. I would just say that some of her stories are a bit of a miss for me. But I'm always persevering with trying new things by her, and also revisiting things where I've had to put them down because I wasn't in the right mindset. So yeah, I would say that she's one of the authors that I gravitate towards, and then therefore auto buy in a loose sense. And then another author, let me reach, which actually this is the only book by her that I have, but I would say that she's a new author where I'm very keen to read more by, is Sarah Winman. So I loved Still Life. This is one of my favorite books, historical fiction set in the Second World War. Yeah, and it's mainly set in Italy and about art. And I just thought her writing was so beautiful, and I'm really keen to get more by Sarah Winman, including her backlist. And yeah, just I don't know when I'm going to have the time, but so in terms of an auto buy, if we're thinking sort of ahead to the future, Sarah Winman is an author where I'm keen to read the new things that she publishes, to kind of keep that momentum going. Okay, so the next prompt had to do with a nostalgic book. And again, like that's really hard because a lot of my books are nostalgic, but I was sort of like perusing my shelves, because I've got this one and the other one over there, and reach. So I ended up going for one of my childhood favorites, which is a Bill Peet book called The Wingding Dilly. These books I think are from the 60s. I'm trying to think. Bear with me. 1970s. So this is definitely a dated book. I used to get these books out from the library all the time. I particularly enjoyed The Wingding Dilly, which is about, I think it's a dog that turns into this other creature. Are they appropriate for a modern audience? Questionable. I'm not sure. But if we're thinking nostalgia and, you know, books that I enjoyed reading as a child, trips to the library, that sort of thing, this is the first one that came to mind. Kind of loosely fitting with sort of spooky season creature, right? And then on that note, the next prompt was a holiday themed book. So thinking about Halloween. Again, I don't have any books that are, pardon me, specifically about Halloween that I could think of. But I did see a pheasant the other day because I live nearby somewhere that has lots of pheasants. And then I thought, okay, if we're thinking autumn, this is a bit morbid, but I thought of Roald Dahl's Danny the Champion of the World, which if you haven't read it, it's about Danny and his father, and they hunt pheasants. That's a big part of the story, and so that just reminds me of autumn. I don't hunt. I'm a vegetarian, but nonetheless, I think of pheasants at autumn and hunting, unfortunately. So yeah, if you haven't read, I mean, Roald Dahl's ubiquitous, but if you haven't read Danny the Champion of the World, might be worth giving it a try. And then the last prompt had to do with a book that is sort of like outside the genre that I normally would read. And the author that came to mind, which I've already spoken about lots recently, is Claire Keegan. So Claire Keegan is an Irish author who writes contemporary. She writes a lot of short stories. I don't think I've read very many Irish authors at all, so that's great that I've sort of expanded my reading taste that way. I don't tend to read a lot of contemporary, and I certainly don't read short stories hardly at all. So it's been a really interesting journey this year, discovering a new types of writing, and an author that I really do respect for her writing style now. So yeah, if you have not tried Claire Keegan, even if you don't normally read contemporary or short stories, I would recommend giving her a try, and not specifically for autumn, but as we move into the Christmas season, Small Things Like These is set at Christmas time, and I would recommend that very much. So yes, thank you again, Daniella, for tagging me in the Cosy Coffee Mug Tag, although granted I have tea in my coffee mug. Yeah, in terms of me tagging people, I think what I'm going to do is just say that if you are a new YouTuber, booktuber, who's like just getting started and you're wanting to be tagged in something, or you've never done a tag video and you're just like looking to get going, I tag you. Or if you're somebody who loves doing tags, always wants to do them, I tag you as well. So I'm not going to tag specific people. It's just if you want to give this one a go, then please do it and tag me in your video so I can watch yours. But yeah, so once again, thank you, Daniella, for tagging me, and I hope you're all doing really well, and I'll see you soon in a new video. Take care. Bye.